To order the meeting of the Marlington Local School District Board of Education, Thursday, July 21st, 2022. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dr. Main, please call the roll.
Mr. Hagan?
Here.
Mrs. Humphreys?
Here.
Mrs. Krupko?
Here.
Mr. Ryan?
Here.
Mr. Swift?
Here.
Reading of the mission statement, Mr. Jonathan Swift.
Okay. In collaboration with staff, community, parents, and students, the Marlington Local School District will develop lifelong learners who understand and apply knowledge and demonstrate excellence in the pursuit of the highest standards with effective intervention to challenge every student.
Thank you. Are there additions or corrections to the meeting agenda? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adopt the following agenda for the July 21st, 2022 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphreys?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Passed. 5-0.
Public participation. Did anyone sign up for to speak?
I received no request.
No requests? Okay. OSBA presentation. Mrs. Krupko?
I just have a couple of things. Governor DeWine signed into law House Bill 583, which extends the current temporary flexibility for school districts regarding the educational requirements for substitute teachers until June 30th of 2024. Also, they report that Ohio data shows that student learning is recovering from the pandemic loss. Researchers at Ohio State University report that the Ohio assessment scores indicate that third grade students have reduced the learning loss gap stemming from the COVID-19 pandemic by nearly 2/3 from last year. For some student subgroups, including English learners and students with disabilities, achievement was largely recovered to pre-pandemic levels. While not all student groups showed this level of improvement, researchers said that the results indicate that the learning gaps can be reversed, especially when implementing resources and funding to close them. There are also several conferences coming up through the OSBA that I've shared with Mr. Swisher for possible attendance from our district.
Thank you. Presentation, Mr. Swisher.
All right, good evening. As I stated last month, every month, I plan on giving a presentation to the board and to the community on just a recap of some things going on in Marlington. And I always want to try to highlight the highlights, any type of highlights I can each month. And hopefully through the 12 months of the year, we'll be able to catch quite a bit of what goes on positive in this district. Moving Marlington forward, obviously, again, I'm going to talk about reasons to celebrate. As I promised last month, I'd give you some updates on staffing, obviously, because it was such a, typically in the summer you get a lot of turnover, so I wanted to discuss that a little bit, and the board had some questions about that. And then obviously where we're moving, the now. So I'm going to highlight roughly 5 things briefly here this evening. Now, you've heard a little bit about Mission Marlington. I'm only going to highlight basically what they've done to help support our district the last few weeks. So in collaboration, in particular with Marlboro Christian, Grace Community and Science, Hill Community Church, and the students, and then the community partners, which happen to be teachers and community helpers, they basically painted all the yellow curvature out front of the middle school and the high school, which took them roughly almost a week between that group. And then we have a children's garden, if you've never visited, right there behind our soccer field. and in between the practice soccer field. And those kids basically wheelbarrowed and shoveled and moved and picked weeds, and they did about 70 yards of mulch, which is quite extensive, and it just looks absolutely amazing. So I just wanted to, if you get a chance and you want to go back, walk through the children's garden, please do. And if you notice the yellow out there, that was done in collaboration with the Mission Marlington group, and I just wanted to highlight a little bit, talk a little bit about that and thank them. Obviously, our high school summer school is about to wrap up. So we're 1 week from wrapping up high school summer school. So I kind of asked for a little update, from the staff and what was going on, because it's been really awesome. The summer school's been a great success, what they said. They've offered 9 different core classes for students. We've had 42 freshmen and sophomores sign up to make over 101 classes over 6 weeks. Teachers are working with students in person to provide lessons and cover content from previous school year that students did not pass. Summer school also has an area for grades 10 through 12 to work on credit recovery that they've acquired over their high school career. We have content teachers for all different areas available to these students to get help with any questions that they may not fully grasp. We also have a test prep room for end-of-course exams in math and English. They use problem-solving learning concepts to build on problem-solving abilities, as well as key concepts in English and math that students may have forgotten from previous school years. We got about 1 week to go for this, but it's been really amazing to see the teachers. We've kind of grown. Last year when we started with this program at the high school, it was pretty much credit recovery, and which was just talking about trying to get our kids to graduate. So we couldn't, we still have to move forward with that. Then we took it a step further this year and had content core classes. So these teachers are actually teaching. So if you ever stopped over and you were there in the morning, through the 4 hours they're there, they actually rotate through a math, an English, a science, and a social studies course. Okay, so it's a 6-week program to help support those that weren't getting credit in specific courses they were doing. So it's a great job. So I really appreciate that. So I want to make sure you guys are a little bit aware of what that was going on at the high school piece. Obviously, we have the summer migrant program, also going to be wrapping up here real soon. I think this Wednesday is the last day. The program's just been amazing. The teachers, again, these are all Marlington teachers stepping up, or area teachers stepping up to support the program. I asked Mrs. Mort, the migrant director, to kind of give me a little highlight, and she said there's a few days remaining in our summer migrant program. We've really enjoyed a great summer. They've done a lot of activities this summer. But they will, and she wanted to highlight some of the activities because these kids just don't get to necessarily do what some of our kids get to do on a regular basis, either through school or with their families. So this will include like the Akron Zoo. They'll be going to the Akron Rubber Ducks game. They swim at Cuddy's every week, and they have a movie day at a local theater. Each week we have the Rodman Public Library come with a bookmobile. Our middle school students there get to pick out books in which they get to read. We've also had local therapy dogs come in, and they do like that. Deputy Bogunovich and Deputy Collins from the Stark County Sheriff's Office has basically ran their DARE program with the students, practicing good decision-making skills and help them lead safe and healthy lives. And then obviously our last day this Wednesday, there'll be a field day. They'll get to play games, enjoy slip and slide, and the local fire department will be there. So that program will be wrapping up too, but that's been, it's a wonderful program that we offer here at Marlington. Our summer custodians and summer grounds, and I'll probably touch more on base as we move forward, at least with our staff, but we're a month from school. They're just like unsung heroes. I mean, it's hot, and the buildings take an extensive amount of work to pull out every piece of furniture in a classroom, put it in the hallway, get the floors, wipe down the walls, check the lights, clean the filters for the mini units, and then put everything back in there. And it's just typically 2 of them in a building, depending on the building, sometimes 3. So I just want to highlight the fact that our summer custodians are doing an amazing job, and I know they're not done, but I do want to thank them because they're there every day getting the work in. Our summer grounds, you'll see them out and about. They're all over the place, and we got 2 ladies and another young man that basically cover the high school and middle school, and it's more work than they can probably handle. But by the time school opens up here in the next month, they're going to be ready to go. But they're just amazing workers. Finally, I'm going to talk about Marlington's horticulture. So we do have we do have horticulture that goes on over the summer. And I got some pictures of some of these things as we move forward here, actually. So we talked about migrant. I threw a couple pictures from the migrant that was shared with me, giving you an idea that, they're enjoying themselves and learning. So we're talking about the summer hort here. So I got a lot of pictures, but I only shared these 3. So Mr. Tanner, in collaboration with, we hire a student, and her name's Morgan Swaggart, and she's in the picture there in the middle. She's an incoming junior in our hort program. She's working this summer with Mr. Tanner. She's gaining industry experience as well as to help us gear up for next year. As you know, things get crazy at the end of the year. They do the late spring sale, and the first order of business to get things cleaned up and organized after the sale. So she spent a month of June just doing that, weeding and fertilizing the flower beds that the students plant in the spring. She works on the flower beds around the hort building, the soccer field, and the entire grounds. We have a fall fundraiser, which we sell mums and ornamental cabbage. In the past, the mums we bought from another grower pre-finished. Well, the past few years, we've started to grow them ourselves. So Morgan went to Molesky Farms with Mr. Tanner, where they let us use their pot filling machine to fill almost 3,000 pots to grow our fall crops, and they were delivered and filled to us. So we're very thankful, obviously, with Molesky and our other industry partners for giving our students those types of experiences. With the starter plants came in, Morgan planted all of them. So she planted all the starter plants, all 3,000, by the way. Okay? The remainder of the summer, she'll be setting up irrigation lines, and she'll also be growing those crops out to finish with the goal of being ready for the sale the second week of September when we start back to school. She'll learn proper monitoring skills to fertilize with the pests as well as growth management and ensure that they're on schedule to finish the correct date. We encourage you to walk around our gardens, see all the hard work that the Marlington Horticulture is doing. You can also check out their Facebook and Instagram because they do updates. So they just also want to thank you for supporting the program, purchasing their products. It's just a good experience for the students. So our hort program it's not full force because we don't have all the students back for school, but we do hire one, and there's Morgan with all her plants. So that's keeping her busy. And we did have the soccer alumni game the other day, so that we kind of had that prepared, and the flowers look really good. She did a really nice job out there with Mr. Tanner. So, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, as promised, I said last month, obviously, the question came up: why is our staff leaving? And I said, well, it's our typical time of year. We do have staff that kind of go various places. That happens. It's common in the summer. In a lot of districts, teachers typically have different reasons why they have to leave. So I tried to exit interview every teacher that left since June 10th, which was the bulk of them. So this is kind of where they're going. Now, it doesn't mean there's just like, say, Alliance, that's one teacher. I'm just telling you the places where teachers went. FYI, Alliance took the bulk of them. But Field Local, another nearby, North Canton, some are just leaving education in general. Canton City, Florida, Online Digital Academy, retirement. Cornerstone Community School, Louisville, Stark County ESC, East Liverpool, Massillon Perry, and out in the state of Wisconsin. So it gives you an idea of where our staff is going. So when we're talking about those exit interviews, I asked one question, why are you leaving Marlington? Some of these I had to do through Google because the one was in Wisconsin. And these are and again, some of these answers, I didn't put little tally marks by them. So if it was, I'll give you the example, more money. Well, I could have put multiple little tally marks by that. So, but accepted a special education position, director of special ed, opportunities for career advancement, opportunity to teach advanced courses. Husband accepted a job out of state. Levy failure and uncertainty of the district. Uncertainty of their position in the future. Accepting a building principal's position, accepted assistant principal position. Currently no teacher contract in place. Internal staff drama to enter the business world. Additional salary opportunities. One said, I never anticipated leaving. Accepted an instructional coach position, lack of communication from administration. Feeling that part of the community does not support the staff, the current financial position of the district, transient administration, job security, fewer classes to prepare for, social media negativity, more money, negativity, superintendent, closer to home, current culture, drama in the community, lack of teacher appreciation. So as I look at this as my current position, some of this makes perfect sense to me. Anybody that's willing to better themselves in their career. You know, we lost two good people that wanted to become principals, so that's where they moved to. Moving because your husband accepts another job is fine. Moving closer to home, getting more money is always, you know, a choice for a staff member to come and go. That's their choice. You know, accepting the instructional coach position was something that this teacher wanted to do. But, you know, some of these are a direct reflection on administration, community, and the board. In my opinion, only my opinion. So when I see transient administration, that means our administration is in flux. We obviously know when we have consistent administrators sitting at the helm, it's always going to be better for the teachers and staff. Okay? Superintendent, you know, it is what it is. You know, I don't know exactly what that meant. I'm just telling you that was the word. Current culture. To me, culture drives a lot. You know, and culture is driven from factors from the top down, how we drive culture. So that's something I think we need to really take a good look at. Lack of communication from administration. Well, that's a problem. If they feel like the administration, the principals are not communicating with the staff, then that's something that we can grow and work on. So some of these I kind of take, you know, as a personal challenge to do better. You know, and communicate more, be a little more transparent. Internal staff drama in the community, you know, those are things that I think those will just come as culture gets better, as we communicate more. But the question was, why are they leaving? That's what I got. Now, obviously, I could put tally marks by those, but I didn't, but that's a general flow. Okay? So the now. All right, this was the last 5 or 6 weeks of very difficult decision making. I told you last month, and I won't change this, I'm committed to making decisions that are best for kids while being fiscally responsible. I told you I would take an analysis of our current resignations. Ultimately, my goal and the board's goal is to be fiscally prudent. So during the 2021-2000 school year, Marlington administration made cost-cutting staffing decisions that saved around $275,000. We know for a fact we're deficit spending. We're spending more money than we bring in. And so obviously we need to take better care. Now obviously we have not asked for any type of cost, you know, we have not passed any type of cost of living increase in this district in close to 20 years, but we still need to be responsible for how we spend our money. So prior to June 10th, the administration was committed to saving $450,000 for 2022-2023 school year. I think the community has made it very apparent that they want us to take a good look at everything and truly make decisions that are being fiscally prudent to this district. So through attrition, internal staff assignments, basically through our retirement, our resignations, and RIFs, we looked at the board, and when I say we, it's when I said it was a team effort here. The team that's sitting over here, the team that can't be, there's others that can't be here. We spent hours, days, to kind of really take a look at every staff member in this district and what certification they had and how can we best save some money. So what I have through this right now going into next year is a $1.4 million savings, which equates to basically $1.7 million in the last 2 years for retirements, resignation, and RIFs. And it's uncomfortable to make another $1 million in cuts in 5 weeks when you have to look at people's faces. And we can say business is business, that's fine. But it's still uncomfortable looking at them. But it's the right decision for our district at this time, and I think they understand that. And I'm a believer I wouldn't have done it and made those types of cuts. So overall, to put this in perspective, we have lost 30 positions in our district this summer. When I say positions, that doesn't mean just teachers. It could be a family support specialist, it could be a custodian, it could be, and that's through RIFs, resignations, and retirements, the 3 R's. Cooks, bus drivers, teachers. Currently, we've replaced 10 of 30. We still need 4 or 5 more. They're just not out there. So we're really scrambling right now. So we're still, so when it's all said and done, we're looking at the cost-saving measures of eliminating roughly 15 positions in our district in one summer. Now, they could be more, could be 16, could be 17. But ultimately, I've told the board, and I would tell any of you in here, I understand that these are uncomfortable conversations, and uncomfortable is not always pleasant, and sometimes uncomfortable is the way we have to do business right now because that's just the way what we're in. But I'm not here to just say, no, we're not going to replace anybody, and that affects kids, that affects programs. So it's like, as we move forward, as I said, going into community meetings in the fall, really the community is going to drive if anything's going to come back. Because right now we did our best to protect some programs, but unfortunately some programs had to be adjusted or moved around, or just they're not there right now. So I don't, and it's the light, so there's some positives in what I just said, and there's obviously some negatives in what I said. So in my mind, the positive is at the end of the day, we were deficit spending next year, according to our 5-year forecast, roughly $2 million. Well, we just went into that with $1.4 million. So our deficit spending I think to me, we've been very fiscally prudent and responsible for what we did this summer through RIFs, resignations, and retirements. So that's, I guess, a good thing because you don't want to be deficit spending. We don't want to do it in our own budget. We shouldn't be doing it as a school. The bad thing is it affects people that have been in this community for a long time, and it also affects possible programs. So as we move forward, which is going to be good because that's what we're going to do. We're going to move forward. I want to know, and I'm really going to work hard to find out what this community wants, what this staff wants, and then we're going to try to look to how to meet those, kind of mesh and meet those things. But this is a start. So this is where I kind of wrap up. I appreciate, but I want to be very honest about what, that was the question and where we're at. Any questions for me from the board?
Just a,
Such as?
Just the breakdown of the $1.4 million in cuts.
I can't. I could have give you an exact figure,
Well, not right
but I mean, I have it. If I can get my computer, I could tell you the exact figure, but we do have it broken down by staff member.
now. Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Sure.
thank you for your work on this, Dan.
Sure. Good.
Old business, levy renewal discussion, or resolution, sorry.
Okay.
Are we going to do that first, or?
Yep. You're in.
Let's, is there a motion to approve the levy renewal resolution as shown in Exhibits A and B?
So moved?
Second?
Okay, and discussion.
Take it there's nothing new from the last time, from the first reading?
No, this is just we had to do a second reading, and after this, this will just get sent back to Stark County Elections, where it'll go back to the Stark County Board of Elections, and then from there, it will be on they'll get it ready for the November ballot.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Passed, 5-0.
Okay, we need a motion for the Marlington Local School District Board of Education to recess into executive session pursuant to revised code 121.22 G4, preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment. And G5, matters required to be kept confidential by federal law or regulations or state statutes. All matters discussed in this executive session are designated to the public officials and employees as confidential pursuant to revised code 102.03B because of the status of the proceedings and/or the circumstances under which the information will be received, and preserving its confidentiality is necessary to the proper conduct of government business.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Passed, 5-0.
Okay, time in is 7:29. We need to go straight in. No talking, please.
We're going out.
Okay, time out of executive session is 7:52. Okay. New business.
All right, one moment. A little bit organized. All right, good evening. We'll go to the new business here. We'll start with our certified contract. So I'm going to recommend the motion to approve the certified contract as negotiated with the Marlington Educators Association for the period of July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2024.
So moved.
Second?
Is there any discussion?
Are we going to give a brief overview of any changes from the previous contracts?
Well, I can give a brief overview. So we've been negotiating for roughly 2 to 3 months. It had its hiccups and ups and downs, but within the last 5 weeks or so, we were able to, I really want to thank the teachers and obviously thank the union board that we were able to sit down and kind of work through a negotiated agreement that we're able to present today. It's only a 2-year. Only thing that we could look at when we were talking about a contract is basically what the May 5-year forecast that was board approved, and of course they know that and we know that. In that 5-year forecast, we did have built in some money to give our teachers. So this is not anything that we're adding to our spending. This was kind of appropriated within the 5-year forecast itself. So we did the best we could do based on the current marketplace and based on where our financially is where we're at as a district. We tried to work through other areas of the contract that wanted cleaned up. We got through, I'd say, a portion of it, but there's other language we'll get to, but that'll take some time. Over the next few years, we'll get there. So it looks like they're going to get a raise in their first year and 2% on the base, and then a 1% on the base the second year with a 1% lump sum. That's basically the gist. And then obviously our health care is there with our dental and our vision. And then the rest is language generated. I can't thank, I just have a thank you to the union board and to the teachers for moving forward with this. We greatly appreciate it. Wish we could do more.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Okay, the next is a new, actually revised. It's a first reading for a new board a policy that we need to revise, and it's under. And this is what I emailed you guys in my board update last Friday. In our policy manual, obviously we have policy 5460 under graduation requirements. Okay, what we did not have in there was a PE, a physical education waiver. Okay, so all this policy, this first reading, we'll do the second reading next month. So this is just to kind of let you guys take a look at this, but we're basically just adding, you see in the green, the physical education waiver part, which just allows our students in specific athletic activities or band or marching band, and I think those are the main ones, where obviously they can sign off, and that would be their physical education credit. Most of the schools in Stark County have this. We were one that we did not have in our policy, so I wanted to add that to our policy.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the following resolution as shown in Exhibit C?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Okay, the next is transportation in lieu. So recommend the motion to approve the transportation request as presented in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 3327.01 for the 2022-2023 school year. That would be for Hope Bear for Biomed.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Number 4, recommend the motion to approve the following out-of-state field trip to Washington, D.C., May 31st through June 2nd of 2023, as shown in Exhibit D.
So move.
Second.
Is there discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Number 5, recommend the motion to adopt the Brickler-Eckler resolution to authorize the engagement of Plant and Moran, PLLC, in connection with certain payroll tax returns as seen in Exhibit E and F.
So moved.
Second.
Is there discussion?
What is this for exactly?
Okay, so we basically reached out to Brickler and Eckler and asked for their recommendation of who we would use for I guess like tax consulting. So it boils down to, in collaboration with Spark and us, they kind of caught when we file taxes like everybody else. So we file taxes. So they basically, if you take, in a nutshell, if you took all our W-2s and put them together, and what was actually submitted to the IRS, they didn't match up to the penny. So it was caught between us and Spark. So we actually have to correct that error to make sure that everything's right. It's not anything that we do, as far as where we got to the point of now of, it's nothing where the district owes any money, it's just we have to correct it. And we thought it'd be, Patty thought it'd be probably fiscally responsible for us to kind of make sure we have a tax consulting firm take a good look so we don't make any mistakes, since obviously this was an error in our department, and it needs to be corrected. So that's the gist of what this is to make sure that.
Is that for just 1 year?
Yes, sir.
And what's the amount? What are the rates? Is it a?
I really don't even know the amount. I mean, it's basically the way it's been told to me was you just add up all our W-2s in our district. And
No, I mean for the services. For
Oh, so the services are basically $160 per hour.
That's good.
So that's where they're at on the service side of it, and that just will depend on what they have to do. So that's the amount on that end.
And we had costs to have Bricker draft the resolution too.
I'm assuming there would be cost anytime a law firm drafts anything. There's going to be a cost. So Brickler Eckler is one of the firms that we use, so they would just bill us as they normally do at their rate.
Okay.
Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Treasurer's agenda. Is there
The
a
first,
I'm sorry.
oh, go ahead.
I'll do the motion, then we can talk. Is that what we'll do? Recommend the motion to approve the minutes of the following meetings of June 7th, 23rd, and as shown in Exhibits G and H.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Discussion.
I didn't have adequate time in the last couple of days to go through all the minutes, but on the June 23rd one, I'd like it to more accurately reflect what happened in the meeting during the adoption of the meeting agenda. It just has the vote, and it says discussion, add additions and corrections to future agendas, and add Nexus pipeline update. And it said add old business number 2. I actually made a motion to add that, to amend the agenda, and I think that the minutes should reflect that a motion was made to add that discussion, as well as the board didn't vote on the amendment, and we just voted on the amended agenda,
And that matters why?
because I think we should follow proper procedure.
Did we discuss those things?
that?
Were they put on the agenda, and did we discuss them?
Well, when an addition is made, when we vote to amend the agenda, that amendment should be voted on, and then we vote on the amended agenda.
Which agenda did you speak of? June 22nd?
June 23rd.
June 23rd?
Yes.
I just wanted to make note, we did talk about those things, so it's not that it was not discussed.
Oh, I'm just saying that it needs to be accurately reflected in the minutes.
Okay. Okay, Dr. May, do you have anything, other comments or anything you want to share?
If you would like for me to take this back and amend it, I can and bring it to the next board meeting.
Was that a motion that died?
No,
what happened?
no, we discussed everything.
We discussed it, we put it on the,
Well, we didn't vote.
I don't-
We didn't vote on the motion. The agenda.
The motion you made? We didn't
Yes.
vote on?
No.
What was the motion?
To add discussion on the Nexus pipeline to the agenda.
I wouldn't amend anything without reviewing the tape.
Oh, I can review the tape and then go talk to OSBA
Thank
Okay.
you.
about the proper,
We had a discussion on Nexus.
Right.
yes, it
We
was
discussed
added to
everything.
the agenda.
Okay.
I don't quite recall it the same way as Josh, but I think it's worth at least listening to the tape.
yeah, look at the tape and see where it goes from there.
So we're tabling this?
No, I think
Oh, do we vote on the minutes, though? Because they're,
Yeah,
we
I
want
think
them amended.
if you want to review the tape, you'll probably have to table it.
Let's just go ahead and table that. Let Patty and I go ahead and review the tapes. We'll bring that back here in August.
Okay.
It's just the minutes of the two meetings. Once those minutes are approved, then we can put those up on the website and get those taken care of.
Okay, the second item is approval of the financial reports for the month of June.
Is there a motion to approve the financial reports and overview of receipts and expenditures for the period ending June 30th, 2022, as shown in Exhibits I through K?
Oh, do we have
So moved.
Second.
to vote on tabling that?
Discussion?
Any highlights, Patty?
Yes. The first attachment is the cash reconciliation. Shows that we balance for the month. The second report is the check pay report. Some of the things that I can highlight would be that on the second page, check 138084, about halfway down. That is some professional development that we have paid through the grant ESSER. The page 3, halfway down, you will see our health department and our Stark County sheriff. Those are also paid with ESSER funds or health and wellness funds. And on page 4, you'll see some other counseling and consulting for professional development. Check 138152, and that's also another grant-funded professional development for teachers. That's probably all that I need to highlight unless there are questions. And then the third report is the financial report. It's the summary of our balances. We began the year at the top of the first page with $7,949,403.24. For general fund, you'll see our fiscal year to date receipts at the end of June. We ended with receipts of $24,244,179.13. Our expenditures were $24,218,675.28. And then you'll see our ending balance, $7,974,907.09. That is with a positive balance this year, receipts over expenditures of about $25,000. our forecasted, we expected by our forecast to end with $7,894,405. If you see the encumbrances, we do have some timing and just delays within the supply chain of some of our things coming in. And then you will see the unencumbered fund balance there. The second one is the PI fund, the permanent improvement, the 003. And we went over this our last meeting with more up-to-date figures. But as you can see, we ended June with a current fund balance of $1.2 million. Again, those are updated at the last meeting to show some encumbrance and expenditures. Another fund I want to highlight is 070 for capital projects. We began with $1.1 million. Our collections were $2,008,151.36. This was due to that early collection. Then they have resolved the nexus. So we'll move forward from there. Our expenditures were $1,440,029.70. As you know, we updated this one too. So the 1.6 that you see is actually updated to $966,385.16 due to encumbering that lease payment for next year at $707,313.45. The last fund on there is that 467. We talked about that earlier this year. We started out with $492,907.20. That is going away. That's part of our fair funding now. We had that left over to get us through one more year, and we did spend that, nursing, et cetera. So you can see that. And the other one on the next page is the 507, which is that ESSER funds that we talk about a lot. And you can see that our expenditures were $1,005,032.44 with some current encumbrances.
Any questions, discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Egan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Pass 5-0. Did we vote on tabling that?
No, we need to go
Minutes.
back and vote on
Can we go
tabling the
I apologize.
minutes.
Okay, is there a motion to table the minutes?
So moved?
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
5-0 passed. Thank you.
And donations, is there a recommendation for the board to approve the following donations as seen in Exhibit L? I'll let you go ahead with that, Patty, if you want.
Okay. We had donations for Marlboro PTO for $189, and Charchone Chevrolet donated $7,019, and that was for a softball scoreboard, and the Teague family donated $301 to the middle school.
Is there a motion?
So move.
Second?
Discussion?
I'm just going to say, I just want to thank the families that donated to the PTO, specifically for the Ashley White Stump Scholarship, to the Marlboro PTO, the Teague family to the middle school, And obviously, the softball scoreboard out there was 100% donated by Sarchones Chevrolet. So the scoreboard itself, that cost was $7,019, which they did. They completely took care of. And then obviously that check was given to us because we got the scoreboard in collaboration and work effort with them. So we want to thank Mr. Miller. He spent a great deal of time on this, trying to get this to work out. And then obviously Sarchone also paid for the installation cost itself, which was actually an additional $5,230. So between those two, and they paid that directly to the installers, Sarchones did, because that's what they wanted to do.
That's
So I just
amazing.
want to thank them for that.
Thank you, yes. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
Personnel.
Okay. Number one on the personnel is administrative resignation. Recommend the motion to approve the following administrative resignation of Dr. Michael Schreffler, effective July 31st, 2022, as shown in Exhibit M.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
I just wanted to thank Dr. Mike as well as all the teachers and staff that have recently resigned or retired for all they put into this school district, and wish them well in their future endeavors.
Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
Certified staff resignation. Recommend the motion to approve the following certified staff resignations as shown in Exhibits N through W.
So moved.
Second. Oh,
Sorry.
Jonathan.
Jonathan was first?
second.
No, he's
Mark wa-
second.
Mark was first.
Oh, thank you.
Jonathan second.
Any discussion? We do thank these teachers for their work at Marlington and wish them the best.
These are, in this group, there's 10 in this particular group. You hate to see any teachers go, as I talked about in my presentation. It's just, it's hard to look at faces and, but each had their own reason. They were very honest about their reasons, and that's, we'll just move forward from there.
Yes. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
Classified resignations. Recommend the motion to approve the following classified staff resignations as shown in Exhibits X through Y.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
Next one. I'd like to recommend the motion to approve the following board resolution pursuant to revised code 3319.01 and applicable laws. The Marlington Local School District Board of Education hereby approves and enters into an employment contract with Dan Swisher as Superintendent of Marlington Local School District for a period commencing August 1st, 2022 to July 31st, 2025.
So move.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Did you want to fill people in on the terms? I mean, some of the comparison of the contract, it's basically the same contract Dr. Mike had with no stipends or annuities and stuff like that, correct?
That is correct.
At a different total amount? Was
It will
that-
be, yeah, when it's signed and processed, it will be a public document.
Okay.
Okay. I just wanted to say for the past 17 years, Dan has been a part of the Marlington community. His experience within the four walls of the schools is only surpassed by the relationships built both inside and outside those walls. Both experience and relationship building are extremely important components of the job of a Marlington superintendent. Very recently, Dan's help with moving union negotiations from impasse to signed contract is a great example of his work. Further, in the past 2 years, he was assigned additional work without additional pay and has continued to provide some badly needed continuity. Finally, and very importantly, he has repeatedly stated, and then proven by action, that he wants to be here at Marlington. My yes vote tonight is representative of my full confidence in his work, and I'm excited to keep moving Marlington forward with Dan Swisher.
Thank you. And Josh is correct. There is nothing. It's a similar contract. Just everything is all together in one. And out of those 30 staff members that left, Dr. Mike was one of those 30. So I was one of the 10 replacements, just on a different salary schedule. You know, obviously to be more fiscally prudent and to save the district some money.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Congratulations, Mr. Swift.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I will keep moving through this. Keep you here. We have some other good news. Keep going here. So we got administrative hires. So we recommend the motion to approve the following administrative contracts. Nicholas Evanich, Pupil Service Director, Step 4, 8/1/22 to 7/31/2025. We can do this together if you guys are okay. And Mike Rizzoletti, Step 0, Middle School Principal, 8/1/2022 to 7/31/2025.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, I'd just like to say that, you know, Nick's been here, I think, 15 or 16 years. Nick? 17 years?
Almost.
That was close. Wasn't bad. In multiple roles. And, you know, anytime you have good internals that you can move in that can actually, you know, you ask a person to get a task done, Nick gets it done. You don't really have to ever second guess it. That's his operating protocol. It always has been. So it was pretty much him and I's conversation. I think it's a good move for him and a good move for our office. So we're really excited. And it kind of benefited because we had Mike Rizzoletti sitting right there in the wings that's been ready to go as an administrator. He's been at the middle school. He started his career at Lexington Elementary. And he really wants to be here at Marlington. So as I said, when you get good internals, you want to try to keep them. That's at least my philosophy. So we're pretty excited to have both these come on board.
Absolutely. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Okay, certified staff hires. We're going to recommend the motion to hire the following certified staff, 2022-2023 school year pending verification of satisfactory credentials and BCI FBI checks as required. So Aaron Griffiths, intervention specialist at Step 1 with a master's. And she'll be Julie Foudy, also an intervention specialist, Step 1 with a master's. Alex McDaniel, secondary math, Step 1 with a bachelor's. Chris Raybuck, high school physical education and health, Step 7 with a bachelor's plus 15.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
These hires fall in line with the part of the 10 that I discussed in my presentation. So intervention specialists, we did lose about 8 this year, so we're still short there, but we're able to fill a couple at the high school, which is good. Alex McDaniel is a 2016 Marlington grad and alum, and currently has been coaching soccer with Mr. Cowgill for the last 5 years. Lives 5 minutes away. Very excited to get him back here at the high school level. Chris Raybuck has been a high school physical education health teacher at the Stark County DD for some years, working with some of our most difficult kids. He's just going to be a great asset coming in and supporting us. Hopefully we'll get him in active in some other roles here soon.
Great. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
We have one certified summer hire. I recommend the motion to hire the following certified staff member for summer of 2022 pending verification of satisfactory credentials and BCI FBI checks is required. That's Aubrey Horning as a teacher.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Like the she.
We have as we hire teachers back in May, sometimes we have teachers that fall off that we have to replace. We can't pay without any of our summer pay without them being board approved. And she's currently going into a new role next year, and she's taking working through different courses right now.
Awesome. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mrs. Hagan? Or Mr. Hagan?
All right. Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
Classified hire, recommend the motion to hire the following classified staff pending verification and satisfactory credentials of the BCI and FBI checks as required. It's Nancy Lemos. I think they said that right. She's going to be a budgetary clerk effective August 8th, 2022.
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
As you will see here coming up, we have a transfer. So our current budgetary clerk is Lisa Manos. Lisa is going to, our payroll secretary resigned about a month ago. Lisa is going to move from budgetary secretary to the payroll secretary position, leaving her position open and vacated. We interviewed. The treasurer's office was all part of the interview process. Nancy comes with us with a great deal of experience in the treasurer side of the world, so we're pretty excited to get her in. And it should be a really good, smooth transition.
That's great. Call the roll.
Can we just take those two together?
What?
No, there's one's a transfer, one's a
Oh,
hire.
that's what, you're right.
Okay. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
We just have a couple classified summer hires to finish up for the summer. Recommend the following motion to hire the following classified staff for the summer of 2022, pending verification and satisfactory credentials and BCI FBI checks as required. Julie Ringer, summer school bus driver. Cindy Griner, migrant custodian. Those are the effective dates for them was just June 15th through July 27th. And Lauren Cawley is a paraprofessional.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Classified staff transfer, this is what we just kind of talked about here. Recommend the motion to transfer Lisa Manos, budget secretary, to payroll secretary.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Okay, tutor hires. Recommend the motion to hire the following tutors for the 2022-2023 school year, pending verification and satisfactory credentials and BCI FBI checks as required. So we can just put those together. You have four tutors there that are going to be returning to us. Now we will have more tutors to bring back, but these are the ones that we have spoken to and met with. They're returning tutors. We have Amy Wittensolder, Laura Ray, Chelsea Miller, Deborah Truax, and Courtney Halter.
Their motion.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
The one that's marked ESSER, that's someone getting paid with ESSER funds?
Yes, sir.
Part of that required amount?
Yes.
Call the roll, please.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Supplemental employment, we just kind of, as I said, this is the time of the year, these months is when we're trying to get all our supplementals added and put into play here. So recommend the motion to approve the following 2022-2023 school year supplemental positions as presented in Exhibit Z.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Okay, the last one here. This would be administrative extended days. Recommend the motion to approve the following administrators' extended days. Daniel Swisher, 11 days. That's for summer 2022 as acting superintendent. Renee Cayley, 5 days for summer of 2022. And for Nick Evanich, 5 days for the 2022-2023 school year, which would be part of his contract as the pupil service for
Motion.
next year.
So move.
Second.
Discussion. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Next up is, this hasn't been on our board agenda, so I just started adding these. I think they should be on there, which is just be announcements. And I just usually will put, if there's any announcements we have, but then I just put upcoming events. So you can just kind of take a look at those. I think this coming weekend, we have the Alliance Soccer Showcase. That's kind of, our group will be here between the soccer field on the turf and the practice field. Saturday, or I think the 23rd, is the football father-son fishing cookout at 10 a.m. They'll meet at the Moulin Center, then go over to our pond. Friday, July 29th, there's a Friday Night Lights. It's not our Meet the Team night, but it's just something that Coach Morrow requested to kind of do with his team. So that's why I kind of put in there what that is, so you know. Obviously, August 5th is Meet the Team for all fall sports, and that'll be at 6 p.m. at our football stadium. August 6th, I just announced Alliance Friends Church does the backpack giveaway. We're part of that every year, so if we do have families that are in need for supplies or backpacks, this would be the place to be between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Our band will be at the Carnation Kickoff Parade on August 7th at 1 p.m. That's down by the castle. They have like the different fire departments from the area there. They do a pump and muster thing. It's the kids really enjoy it, but our band will be part of that. And then obviously Saturday, August 13th is the Carnation Parade, the main parade in town, and our band and cheerleaders will be part of that, and possibly some other members of our staff. And obviously, I didn't want to put all the athletic. Fall's going to pick up here, so how to list that, you really need to go to our website, go under the athletic tabs, and try to keep an eye where that is.
Thank you. Next board meeting will be held August 18th at 7 p.m. Did we, remember how we talked about, or I was watching the meeting about the information that you'll get in August? That could be a timing issue. Relating to if there's going to be an appeal for Nexus?
So based on Tuesday's thing, obviously August 23rd would be the final day if any county would appeal our Nexus money. So we really have two options here. If we're looking at, obviously, if I make a recommendation to move forward with the phase 1 of the high school roof, which I plan to make that recommendation, we would be recommending before we would have X amount of committed money. I say we leave it on the 18th for now, and as things, if it looks like things will get interesting, we may want to switch it to the following Thursday or later, but let's just leave it on the 18th, and
Okay.
We'll keep you updated from there.
Okay. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Mrs. Krupko?
Yes.
Mr. Hagan?
Yes.
Mrs. Humphries?
Yes.
Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mr. Swift?
Yes.
Passed 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much.